Yo, what up? How is everyone doing? Whoops. I'm so hyped right now. I actually didn't watch much of any of it though. Unfortunately, I did some social posts. What up? It's Javs on Twitch. Here we are again for a random stream on a Sunday. Yeah, on a Sunday. I'm gonna check out all the stuff that was posted from Exilecon this weekend, and we're gonna do just a little casual catch up because I missed most of it. I saw some posts on social and I watched like 10 minutes here and there, and I saw bits and pieces of, you know, the race and stuff like that. So it's pretty exciting stuff. I'm pretty excited for it. I guess I'm just gonna go into this mode here and we'll just check it out.
The gods caused all this, you know. After Oriath was destroyed, I traveled, searching for answers. Everywhere I went, the same divine devastation. It must end. I will end it. And no exile will stop me!
Warrior, Huntress, Sorceress, Mercenary, Monk, and Druid. That's a lot of, that's a big cast. I wonder what that skill tree is gonna look like. Man, the weight of the battles, I did watch some of this when they were playing it. Lord of Kemp. We'll have to check out what Kid and Cat Noodle says too, because I've been kind of trying to keep up with the lore too. There's like a traveling caravan. Distinct environments. I mean, 100 maps is basically what that means. 600, 100 bosses for the 100 maps, yep. 1,500 passive skills. 36 ascendancies. 24 active skills. 700 equipments. Second person co-op is pretty cool.
This world will be reborn, no matter the cost.
Nice. Yeah, they the team at GGG really knows how to do the trailers well.
Welcome to Path of Exile 2. We'd like to start off by showing some of the gameplay of Act 3, one of the 6 acts in PoE 2's campaign. We're starting here in the jungle depths. Act 3 is set in the ruins of the Vaal civilization, which fell thousands of years ago. Jungle has taken over their former once great cities, and we'll be exploring it using one of our 6 new character classes, called the Monk. In PoE 1, we had 1 character class for each of the combinations of Strength, Dexterity, and Intelligence. When looking at the design of PoE 2, though, we realized that many of the new skills that we were trying to design just didn't really fit thematically with the existing classes that we have. Being a spellcaster with a bear form makes sense for Strength Int, but it doesn't really sound like something that a Templar would do. We realized that since we had new mechanics for every attribute combination, it actually made sense to design new character classes to explore the new themes. In PoE 2, every attribute combination has 2 classes associated with it. Strength Int has the Templar or the Druid, on Dexterity you have the Ranger or the more spear-focused Huntress, and on Dex Int you have the Shadow and the Monk, which Mark is playing here. Each class has its own 3 ascendancies that let you further specialize the class in the way that only that class has access to, but they both start at the same location in the passive tree. The quest rewards you're offered on the two variants are tailored to the class, but of course, this is PoE. You can still mix and match anything to your heart's content.
Okay. So they're just doubling up each
Looks like we've come across the boss for this area.
ascendancy.
In PoE 2, every
Basically.
area of the campaign contains a boss of at least this difficulty. That's
is
over
cool.
100 bosses to fight as you make your way through the campaign.
There's basically
and
an
they all have
alternate
unique
for
mechanics
each-
to learn.
each stuff. I wonder if there's an alternate for Scion though, right? They said 36. How many do we have right now? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right?
As you've seen from watching Mark fighting, the melee combat in PoE 2 has a very different feel than before. We've done a lot of things to add mobility to combat. Practically every melee skill in PoE 2 has some kind of movement built into it. The monk in particular is a melee fighter who specializes in mobility over brute strength.
The 3 life flasks. I mean, I'm covering a little bit, I guess. Actually, I should figure out my stream. How do I, Yeah, it's this one.
Stay still.
It's got 3 life flasks. Seems so ridiculous. That's like the new skills over here. The wind push thing.
So, as Mark has been playing, you might have noticed these blue markers over enemies. Mark has a skill equipped called Killing Palm. Whenever an enemy has a blue indicator over it, it means that the monster has low enough life to cull with Killing Palm. Successfully executing the cull will give you a power charge. This is an important skill for the monk, since many of his skills interact with power charges. One of the great things about the skill is that it has a built-in dash forward, which makes it much easier to target the skill at the right point when you need it. We've done a lot of work in PoE 2 to make using skills like this feel satisfying. If you're accidentally targeting slightly off the monster, the skill will automatically lock on to the cullable target, and will even do a small amount of pathfinding around obstacles. We really want to make sure that when you've got an opportunity to use the skill, nothing is going to get in your way.
That's pretty good.
Once you have some power charges, you need some skills to power up. A great follow-up is Falling Thunder. Falling Thunder without a power charge just creates a relatively small lightning AoE in front of you. But do it with some power charges and it turns into a pack clearer with a large number of extra projectiles. One thing you'll notice here is that like almost every melee skill in PoE 2, Falling Thunder has a bit of extra movement built in just in case you need it. Using the skill within range and you'll do a flip in place, but use it at a larger range and your character will move forward while executing it, getting you into position without any time penalty.
I'll have to see how these like little nuanced things play out.
In PoE 2 you also get a short period to redirect your target. Notice how you can start the skill facing one way, then whip the mouse sideways to land the skill in a different direction? In order to get power charges, you're going to first need to get some lower life monsters into a cullable range. You've got a few options. If you want to charge right in, Whirling Assault is a good option. It doesn't do much damage per hit, but it covers a lot of ground.
ARPGs are
Notice how you
always
can
easier if
turn
you
as you
don't
do
have
it?
to aim.
Generally speaking, you never lose control of your character in PoE 2. If you make a turn at the right time, you can get a couple of extra hits in on the monsters, getting them into range of your cull. Follow up with a Killing Palm, then finish off the rest of the pack with your Falling Thunder.
But they have to do like some sort of demonstration like this, otherwise you won't see that many skills. If someone's just spamming one skill over and over again and just like
We've now
covering the whole
entered the
screen,
Vaal Mechanarium.
not really a good
This is the
demo.
place where the Vaal built the various constructs they relied
They're
on to
trying
power
to
their
show like
civilization.
an individual attack at a time, so you
This
kind of
is a
understand which
find.
ones are which.
A Vaal ruin that hasn't been looted? I wonder why nobody's been in here
This is
before.
Alva. Oh, I
One
did see
useful
this
feature
part
that
on
we've
the
added
stream.
is the ability to call in
everybody was
NPCs to
going
where you
just
are,
in time
to give
on
you
this
more
one.
information, help you with quest objectives, and so that you don't have to always go back to town. In this case, we'll call in Alva to find out what to do.
This mechanism, if powered with a small soul core,
Pretty
it
good.
could
I'm not-
open that door.
We can skip ahead a little bit
We
actually.
should definitely.
If you want to shave off some life without getting too close to some of the more dangerous monsters, a good option is Wind Blast. Wind Blast also doesn't do too much damage, but it keeps the enemies back. The closer they are, the farther they're pushed back, so it's a great option for keeping smaller but high damage enemies at bay. Note that the bigger the enemy is, the less they'll be pushed back, so trying to push back some giants isn't going to be effective. And there's the Soul Core. Let's get back to the door.
Trying to look at the UI a little bit here. There's a pretty similar to PoE 1. Like it's still flats and everything.
Your fate is sealed.
I wonder if they're actually planning on doing major changes, but they're just keeping it the same so it's understandable.
Consider me impressed. I'll keep investigating in here.
But it looks
Bring me
pretty
if you find
similar.
anything else.
If you need to defeat tougher enemies,
Like
it
the
might be
XP
time to
bar and
break out some of the
everything's all
ice
same.
skills in the monk's
The quest
arsenal.
markers in the
Glacial
same spot.
Cascade creates a wave of ice that moves slowly in front of the player. It's pretty ineffective against fast-moving monsters because most of the damage occurs right at the end of the wave,
Change the symbol
and so
here
a lot
on
of
the
monsters
right.
will just walk right by it. But
That's
if you
their
can find a way to
skill.
make a monster
That
stop
looks
at
like the
just the
skill
right
tree.
place, it can be very effective. In
Okay.
order to do that, you probably want to freeze monsters. The monk has a few different tools to do this. A fairly simple option is to get right in the monster's face with Ice Strike. Ice Strike doesn't do too much damage on the first 2 hits, but attack 3 times in sequence and you can get off a combo that has a much higher chance to freeze. Get in there with that freeze, then roll back and finish the job with a Glacial Cascade. Now, remember how Glacial Cascade had that extra damaging spike at the end? If you've hit a frozen enemy with that spike, it shatters the ice on the enemy and does a devastating amount of damage. Oh yeah, I just casually mentioned rolling back before. Did I forget to mention that in PoE 2 we added a dodge roll to every character? Just press spacebar at any time to roll. There's no cooldown, no limitations. It even has a bit of built-in pathfinding so you don't get stuck on things. When you dodge roll, you're not invulnerable. If something hits you, you're going to feel it, but most things will not hit you. That's because while rolling, projectiles and melee strikes will always miss. You'll have to roll out of the way of a slam that has AoE, but anyone swinging a sword or throwing a fireball is going to miss. Now, another really important function of the dodge roll is that it lets you cancel out of almost any skill at any time. This makes it so you don't feel like you're getting stuck doing a long animation when something is about to hit you. It really changes how skills with longer attack and cast times play, and it makes dodge roll feel like a very reliable way to avoid attacks.
Nice.
So, that's one way to get out of the way of damage, but the monk specializes in mobility, so it makes sense that he would have a few more. Wave of Frost is one of our new attacks with a retreat built right in. You move
I mean, I'm
backwards
sure
and
they
throw out
have
a cold attack with a
some
significant
sort of
freeze.
cooldown or whatever, so
The
you
great
can't
thing
just
about this
spam
is
it.
it puts you at a good distance to follow up with Glacial Cascade and do a whole pile of damage. Hey look, another Soul Core.
I mean, you said no cooldown, but it seems like there's like a pause in the animation.
Another skill you can use to get some extra freeze is Shattering Palm. Shattering Palm is another palm strike with a
It'd be
small ice
interesting
bomb
if you
on
could,
your target.
if it's like
Kill
goes
or
off
deal
of your
enough damage
attack
to the
speed or
target and the
something
bomb will
like that.
explode, doing some damage and a significant freeze.
Or movement speed.
It's a great option against bosses where the wave of ice might not be enough to get that freeze off.
Or
But
if
you
it's
really
just
want to get
always
that Glacial
the same.
Cascade damage bonus.
Get back.
Maybe it's just own stat itself, I don't know.
Face your demise.
The final skill we're going to show you today is Flicker Strike. It's a monk skill now, and another skill that consumes power charges. If you've played PoE 1, you know what to expect. It's a great finisher for tough boss fights, and it looks pretty impressive too.
Face your demise.
Nice. What's the other stuff here?
Another door. I wonder what could be in there.
So we have melee, mobility, killing palm, Storm thunder, bow mechanism, glacial cascade. Dodge roll has pathfinding, no cooldown, melee, and projectile drop. I mean, I do like having always.
In order to take down this boss, we're going to need all the tools in the monk's arsenal, especially the combo of Freeze and Glacial Cascade. If you're a PoE 1 player, you might think that you can't really rely on Freeze because there's so many bosses that are immune to it, but in PoE 2, that's changing significantly. In PoE 1, Freeze is a binary mechanic.
This
An
is
attack freezes the
interesting,
target,
too.
or it doesn't. What this basically means is that in PoE 1, we were forced to add freeze immunity to many bosses, because freeze just trivialized them. Because of that, freezing was something you only really used while pack clearing, and not something you could rely on as a core part of your build for boss fight. In PoE 2 though, all crowd control mechanics now have internal meters that allow you to build up to a freeze or stun, or whatever other CC mechanic you might be using. It's a little bit like poise from games like Elden Ring, though the meters tend to be a lot smaller than those games. When you freeze an enemy, it increases the amount of freeze you need to do another freeze, but but the increased difficulty bleeds away slowly. More freeze will always let you freeze the boss more often, but this system means it will not get out of control in party play or interact badly with other CC mechanics, allowing us to let these kinds of mechanics actually work against all bosses.
Nice. I do like this mechanic, but the display is going to take some getting used to. It's like, it looks like as it gets hit, he gets 6 resistance, and then the next one it goes up to 12 or so. It's probably on a percentage scale. Like 98% is the most I've seen. So you can always wait it out, but if you're spamming, you're gonna do less freeze. I mean, you can't really tell what is the... I mean, that marker is supposed to be the freeze, right? That's how much freeze he is. So it's kind of actually hard to tell what their resistance is. It would be better if it was like you like saw it break off of them or something, like an effect. You know, like a boss has like some sort of shield or something, like a CC shield, basically. Just like a little visual aid. I guess it would become more complicated if most people are doing like multiple CC, maybe. Wave of Frost, Shattering Palm, Flicker Strike. This is the boss that they're doing. More freeze stuff.
If you're a PoE 1 player, you might think that you can't really rely on freeze because there's so many bosses.
Yeah, that was what we just watched. Consumable quest item in PoE 2 gives your character permanent buffs.
Blackjaw has dropped a consumable quest item, the Flame Core. It's a permanent +10 to Spirit. In PoE 2, we really want to make sure that you feel rewarded for exploration. It wouldn't be much good if we made all these awesome...
Plus the Spirit, yeah, so Spirit is the new mechanic that's going to be your, basically a reservation aura reservation. So I think they said every character starts with 100. So that was just +10 for that optional boss, basically. So you'd have 110. I mean, if it's really Spirit for... It's probably a splattering of different things that you get from the optionals, but... If you can stack Spirit like that for multiple bosses, I'm sure almost all builds would probably do that. Assuming you want to fit in an extra aura, but I assume, unless you're playing some specific build that says like auras are weaker or you can only use one aura or something, I assume you'd want that reservation or that Spirit. Quest item gives you Sorceress gameplay.
The Sorceress is the new intelligence-focused character in PoE 2. While the Witch focuses more on occult magic and summoning, the Sorceress is themed around pure elemental destruction. Let's have a look at how she plays.
All the vaunted technology of the Vow, and look where it got them. Dead and buried.
This is the largest soul core I've ever seen. With this, we could power the canal systems. But it isn't charged. There is still latent energy in this machinarium from its ancient operation. These lines in the stonework should lead to generators.
This is pretty cool looking with the snakes here.
But everything looks to be in surprisingly decent condition. Maybe the golems have been maintaining it. In any case, it should
Into this
still
wall
function.
thing.
We'll have to remove that
Very
large door
flavorful.
from the wall, of course, but that shouldn't be a problem.
We have some skills here that you'll probably recognize if you've played PoE 1 before, but they feel a bit different to play now. Spark is great in these tight passages,
But this
and
is
bounces
obviously
around.
like a valve.
We've added a Pierce support gem to really allow it to hit an entire room of targets.
Big headdress.
For a more single target focused skill, Arc is a good choice. It does more damage to the first target you hit. Now, if you find yourself surrounded, it might be good to use Ice Nova.
This
It
stuff
hits
is
all enemies
pretty-
around you and slows them down with chill. Just be careful. Getting up close and personal isn't the ideal place for a sorceress to be. She doesn't have the defenses of a more melee-oriented
So they
character.
did mention Witch, right?
If you want to
So
help with the
Witch still
sorceresses with
exists,
melee
but then
defense,
there's also
you could use
Sorcerer.
Arctic Armor. In PoE 2, Arctic Armor is a buff that builds up as you stand still. You can see the ice crystals forming around the character.
I guess they're bringing Elementalist over to Sorceress.
They'll
basically.
drop off if you walk. When monsters
'Cause
hit
this
you,
seems
they
like the
take
Elementalist
cold damage
character,
and build up to a
basically.
freeze, so it's a great defense. Just be careful. You
Unless
have to be
the
standing
Witch
still for a little
still
while to
also
get the
has
full
an
effect,
Elementalist
so trying to start a step
dependency, which would be
isn't the
kind of
best strategy. Now, Arctic Armor is an ongoing buff, but did you notice it didn't reserve any mana? How does that work? Well, we were pretty sick of the fact that in PoE 1 basically every character was playing with no mana pool, so we decided to change the way that reservation works. There's a new resource in PoE 2 called Spirit. Spirit is a dedicated resource you can use for ongoing effects like Arctic Armor, Heralds, Auras, or even Minions. Everyone starts with 100 Spirit, which is enough for most ongoing effects. But if you want more than one effect, you're going to need some more Spirit. Spirit is available on mods from items and on the passive tree. But if you're willing to give up your offhand slot, the easiest way to get it is by holding a scepter.
Yeah, this is pretty cool too. They said that weapons will now all have
Now, if you want to increase the cold damage you're dealing, you can use
like
a
an
frost bomb.
implicit that's useful.
Places a bomb on the ground that reduces the
skill.
enemy's cold resistance while it's ticking down. It's a great opportunity to use some cold skills before it explodes.
They showed a bunch of different
And
examples.
speaking of cold skills, a great skill to use on monsters with the slower cold resistance is Comet. This is a new skill in PoE 2, and it hits pretty damn hard. It costs a lot of mana and has a really long cast time, but it's worth the wait. It does a devastating amount of damage. To help get you out of danger, your character moves back slightly as it casts. It's pretty hard to hit a fast-moving opponent, but it's great on tougher enemies that stand still.
I
or
do
even a
love
larger
the
pack
attention
you're
to
further
detail
away
that
and
they always
predict
put
where they're
into the
going to move.
skills and like the little movements and animations.
Now,
and stuff
if you
like
run out of
that.
mana casting too many of those, I guess in an emergency you could cast your free-to-cast Fireball. Where did that come from, you ask? Well, this is a great opportunity to explain the way we've changed caster weapons.
But in
PoE
reality,
2.
no one's going to be casting
Now, in
that
PoE
slow
1,
of a
caster
thing.
weapons had a default melee
Unless
attack
they're
that nobody
auto-cast.
used. And because they had that, they also had a bunch of attack mods that would spawn in them that were useless to a caster. In PoE 2, we wanted to clean that up. So now
Wait, so what does this look like now? This inventory section here? It looks the same, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? By 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty much exactly the same. All the slots are the same. There's no additional, there's not like a second amulet that, or like necklet, or I guess amulet's still necklace. I don't know. Cape. There's no extra inventory. But this is cool where they said that each thing now comes with a free to cast spell or something like that, or something relevant to what the weapon is going to be like. Obviously, this one's also rolled into +1 lightning, which would be kind of, well, I guess it would be even more convenient if it was +1 fire on this one, right? But that's pretty good. This gear looks pretty similar. The perspectives are all exactly the same too. They really have a design. I like it though. It looks
Now,
good.
each staff comes with a built-in free-to-cast spell. Just put it on and spam to your heart's content. Now, this particular staff is the base type that you get right on the starting beach, and it's quite likely that you're going to outgrow it. So that's why we have a lot of staves with more utility-focused powers for casters to use.
This makes sense
Here we
because they
have
don't
a
have
crystal
skill
staff.
slots.
It's
and
got a
stuff.
pretty cool built-in spell called Unleash.
So it's unleashed.
Using it
Think-
slams your staff on the ground,
Get some
and will
different
allow you to
combos
triple
like
cast
this.
whatever you cast with your next spell. Now, of course, you're probably going to want to use that with something powerful, and Comet is a great option.
Triple
You'll
cast
notice
into
that
it.
Unleash is one of the few skills in PoE 2 with a cooldown. In general, we really try to avoid using cooldowns because we really hate the feeling that combat is just waiting to be able to use your next skill. But it does make sense for Unleash since it's free to cast and it's something we want you to be using situationally anyway. Now, if you're facing something tough, you might want to try out Mana Tempest. Mana Tempest creates a circle of power in which your character literally hovers over the ground. While in the circle, your mana drains, but it powers up all of your spells. Lightning projectiles fork, beams chain further, and you'll also do a lot more damage.
I mean, it's basically like Rachel's fire buff, right? I guess it stays in one spot. It doesn't follow you. But it's basically a buff that you would do to power up for a rare or something. Or a boss. Just like that Unleash, the triple cast thing. Because most of the time the fodder, you just want to be able to basic attack through it. This is pretty good stuff though. Spark, Ice Nova, Arctic Armor, Revamped, Mana Reservation, Frostbomb, Comet. But this looks basically like Elementalist and Elemental-based items are all pretty much similar. Caster weapon redesign. I do like the making the implicits more important and adding like a skill. They should be. I wonder if it's. Yeah, I assume you could still level up the skill on the staff, but maybe not. I guess I have to see how the thing works. They did have some. I think they had some footage of the skill gems, caster weapons, unleash, mana tempest, combos, uncut gems.
This rare monster dropped an uncut gem. This is a good opportunity to talk about how skill gems drop in PoE 2.
Uncut skill gem. Uncut skill gems must be engraved to become usable.
Instead of dropping specific gems, you can find uncut gems. Just right-click on them and pick whatever skill you want. The gem will come pre-leveled to the level of the area that dropped it.
So it's easier to change skills in PoE 2. So let's see here. What does this screen look like? There's 1, 2. There's all these tick marks here. 1, 2, 3, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. Wait, that is not 2 per. Is that 2 per? Oh no, it is. It is. It's the 6 times 2. So they aren't counting Scion. They are not counting Scion. There's 12 total then, right? Because this is Witch and Sorceress here, and then Ranger, the Dex person, right, is coming up next over here. And then we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. I guess that's the level. Like the tier, I guess. We got Spark, Frostbomb, Arc, Ice Nova, Frostbomb, Arctic. Barrier Invocation. Barrier Invocation. Cast on Shock. I did see the cast on Shock. Alright, let's just watch.
So it's a lot easier to change between skills in PoE 2. This time, I think it might be cool to grab one of our meta gems. Meta gems are skills that can have other skills socketed into them, changing how they work. In this case, we're going to select Cast on Shock. Now, let's equip this thing in the skill screen and choose a spell to trigger with it. I think Comet might be fun. Because Cast on Shock reserves Spirit, we'll need to first disable our Arctic Armor. We have to decide if we'd rather have the extra defense or the extra offense of the Cast on Shock using our Spirit. In PoE 2, trigger gems use a system of filling up cast time on each trigger. Basically, if a skill has a short cast time, then we'll trigger it really often. If it's got a long cast time, like this Comet here, it will take a lot longer to trigger. You can see up the top left that there's a counter that says how far it is until your next trigger. And there you are. Using Cast on Shock, we'll automatically cast Comet whenever we're using our lightning skills.
This example is very slow, but I assume this is low tier gear and stuff.
So we've found the generator. Time to power it up.
I don't know, something that casts every like 10 casts or 20 casts or something. Probably not worth.
As power is restored to the mechanarium, all the constructs are coming back to life.
Probably better just
We'll
to
need to
have
fight
an
them
aura
on the way
that
back to
buffs
the
all of your
charged soul
attacks
core.
every time.
One thing that PoE 1 players might have noticed is that this character has both ice and lightning spells.
If you're
That's
full
pretty
auto
inefficient, isn't
bomber
it?
and it was looping,
It's a big no-no for most
and you got a
builds
big
because
cast
any
every 10 or
specialization
something,
into
then
cold
it's
or
fine, I
lightning
guess.
isn't going to affect the other element. And generic elemental damage increases are not going to be as powerful as focusing on a single element. Well, in PoE 2 we have another major new system to introduce to solve these kinds of problems, and it starts with weapon swap. Now in PoE 1, weapon swap isn't really used much for its originally intended use case. We imagined that people were going to be swapping in and out between different weapons to deal with whatever situation they were in.
Like
People
Diablo
just don't
2.
do that at all.
That's what
And
they
a
do in
large reason for
speedrun
that is
Diablo
because it's
2.
really awkward to do.
It's like a
In PoE
caster
2 we
set
wanted to solve that.
and like a
The staff
melee
Octavian
set.
is using here has an ice mod on it that makes it great for when he's using his ice spells.
Depends on the character.
We would also like to be able to make sure that the build works just as well for his lightning spells. If Octavian equips his previous staff in his second weapon set, you can see that it appears on the character's back. Now we're going to open up the skills screen. If Octavian opens up the skill options for his lightning
problem
skills,
with this,
you can see here that you can choose which weapon sets are.
The only problem with this setup here is I do like the look of these of the UI. Path of Exile always has such great detail. Like, look at all the engravings underneath each slot. And then all this design up here for every, like this is all unique to just this panel. It's very cool. So this is Spark, damage per second. Their information in PoE 1 is pretty lacking for a lot of things. This looks way easier to understand though if they have a specific page per thing, you know. But then the defensive stuff, I would like to see the defensive stuff too. Sometimes like you don't get a buff until you cast it, and then trying to check it in this is like very awkward. So I'd be curious to see if they come up with a better solution for that. But this at least looks, I mean, in PoE 1 you just click on the skill and then you can see the numbers for that. So I guess that's what this panel is kind of being like. They're putting the always attack without moving tied to the skill. So this is nice because they can now put, they basically have control set per skill here. We got level 9, that's showing you the level up bar. And then this is how you can 6-link, right? This is the main skill, and then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 supports in here. 5 supports, and I don't know. What is this number here? I don't know. 65. Is that how much mana it costs or something, maybe? Yes, or this is the DPS. This is the average DPS. Looks like. I guess that's nice. I wonder what else would you rather have besides DPS? I guess that makes sense. So you can kind of scroll through and see what my main skill should be or what my boss kill skill should be. And you can kind of like swap the gems around and see how the numbers change. So that I guess makes sense. Combined damage, lightning damage, penetration, speed, cast speed. I got that separate out. Critical strikes is separate. Accuracy is a separate spot, but I guess there's no accuracy because it's spell, right? And then ailments, chance to shock, chill effectiveness, leech on hit effects. And then this is only half the panel, so it looks like there's going to be a lot more things. We could probably guess what most of them are. And then we can use the weapon sets here. So it auto switches your weapon based on the skill now. That's pretty good. Pretty good. So you could have a boss kill setup that uses a different weapon even. Different skill and different weapon. So you could be like a hybrid, you know, could be like a hybrid fire slammer that then also switches to, you know, I don't know. I guess it can't be too different. You couldn't switch to like totems maybe, because usually totems force you to say, I don't do any damage, and my totems do damage. But yeah, but there's so many situations where you might want a different weapon equipped when you're using a different skill. That'll be interesting to see, because people can do a lot of crazy build synergies, right, with weapon swapping like that. It's kind of putting it into the meta that you can just have. I mean, I would even just have a movement, like a leap slam or something, tied to a very fast, like a bright beak or something, and then just weapon swap like that so you can move fast. You always jump faster, use the high attack speed weapon, and then switch over. Man, that's gonna be so smooth. That's gonna be very fun. if that's how you can really do it. I mean, maybe that's going to make it so everybody does something like that. But, I mean, I don't know how many people have, like, crazy setups with shields, so you can shield charge, right? And, like, use daggers instead of caster weapons so that you can use whirling blades and stuff like that, right? So this one, obviously everybody has a dodge roll, so you wouldn't be doing that, but, you know, having a high attack speed for a different type of thing. You know, you could even have like a frenzy, with the frenzy, you can like pump up your frenzies on one weapon or something like that. Maybe have like attack on hit or something, frenzy on a weapon, and then you can weapon swap over to like a higher damage dealing thing once you have all the frenzies, so that you have the high attack speed for the slow thing. I mean, there's some cool combos. You can have one thing that builds your power charges and then slam, destroys all your charges. Like a discharge on one weapon. Even Flicker Strike would benefit from that too, right? Because Flicker Strike has the problem that you need to, permanently generate your...
Are usable with each skill. First, we uncheck set 1 from being used by his lightning skills. Then, we go through the cold skills and turn those off with his lightning weapon.
I assume if you have both checked,
now,
then,
when we use Spark,
it looks like
the character
both
will automatically
both
switch
by
to the lightning
default.
staff on his back, and then use the skill. When Octavian uses Ice Nova, his character automatically switches over to his Ice Staff before using it. Figure each skill for which set to use, or both if you don't mind which. There's a very short time penalty to switching, so it can be good to leave some skills on both sets if it doesn't matter which weapon set you're using.
Short
But
time
we still have the
penalty?
problem of passives. Wouldn't it be nice if we could specialize in both cold and lightning passives on the character? Well, in PoE 2, you can. We're on the passive scale.
Cold and lightning passives. Okay, so let's see this screen. This screen. So we got passive points, weapon sets. Refunds, search, and then a scaling. But this tree looks pretty similar to how the PoE one is. So it's still going to be 6. It's still going to be a circle around 6 spots, but each spot has 2 classes that are associated with and 6 ascendancy. Right? That makes total sense. Right, 36 divided by 12 is 3. No, it's 12. It's 12 classes. I guess there's no Scion. Maybe there's also a Scion. Maybe there's actually 13. Because there's no even blend one, right? There's no even blend of all. So we'll have to see. Maybe they'll if they show a center shot of the passage.
Skill screen here, and you can see that we're close to both a cold and a lightning cluster. At the top right of the screen, you can see where we have some weapon set specific points
you
to
still
allocate.
don't want to...
If Octavian holds shift, he can allocate set 1 to the cold passives, and then allocate set 2 to the lightning passives.
You still have to be in the area.
Now check this
though.
out. As we weapon swap, our passive tree changes from one build to the other automatically.
This is pretty
Whenever we
crazy.
cast the appropriate spell, the character's passives reconfigure on the fly to the correct build for that spell.
Woohoo!
Now you can't do this with every passive on your tree. Only points granted from skill books will allow this kind of dual specialization. So you can't
Skill
change from a
books?
mace slamming warrior into a fire elementalist with the press of a button. But it certainly increases the number of options you have for builds.
Yeah, what
There's a
up?
huge number of places where the system can shine.
T
You
Mercy
could augment
2K,
your
how
Dagger
you doing?
Shadow build with traps, or have a great curse setup on your Witch in one spec, and then move to your Chaos Debuff spells with the other. It really opens up your options.
It does really open up the options, but the passive tree still has to be in the same area. You still have to have the passive tree in a similar area. You can't like have all over the place. But it probably works out if the clusters are close like this. Because this is the fire one right here, right? So you could be fire cold too. But then, who knows where chaos is on here. That close to the cursed clusters and stuff. Kind of figure it out. You're not going to be able to go that much crazy. This example only works because they're using the same area here. For this thing, but depending on how they lay out the thing, you will be able to find some cool combos like this, though. And then later on, if they add those type of things where there's like where you can jump to the other side of the tree, but they started adding in PoE1. If they have like items like that, that would be pretty crazy. But I don't know how that works with these weapon swapping passive points. So this is, so how does this even read here? You have 5 with this weapon set left or something? Is that how it was?
As we weapon...
I want to see him actually use the skills.
If Octavian holds shift, he can allocate set 1 to the cold passives.
Yeah, so he's 10 in 1, and then 10 in 2. Yeah, the 1 is the red and the 2 is this other color, the green.
And then allocate set 2 to the lightning passives.
The color coding, I guess, kind of makes it work, but I mean, what's the colorblind support for this? What is the colorblind support for this? But yeah, I guess it looks okay. This is very complicated, though. Automatically switching passive trees.
Now check this out. As we weapon swap, our passive tree changes from one build to the other automatically. Whenever we cast the appropriate spell, the character's passives reconfigure on the fly to the correct build for that spell. Now you can't do this with every passive on your tree. Only points granted from...
That is pretty good, though. I do like that. That does open up builds. Whenever they do stuff that opens up more builds, or more build possibilities, I'm always a fan of that. Cast on shock and trigger gem explanation. Weapon swap, revamp. Passive skill tree being reactive to your weapon set. This is a new skill that they have here.
Another fun metagem to try out is called Barrier Invocation. This works a little bit like the trigger gem I talked about before.
Wait, let's read this. Barrier Invocation meta. Level 1 is the max. Reserve. It reserves all your spirit. Oh, okay. So 10 extra spirit. I don't know how good that is, actually. 10 extra spirit doesn't actually sound like much at all. I have to shut down my Twitch DMs here. Getting like randomly spammed. Casting the skill once grants a buff that causes you to gain energy when you take energy shield damage. When you take energy shield damage from a hit. Up to a maximum. Casting the skill again will consume the energy to trigger socketed spells. One hit, gain 1 energy for each. You gotta take damage. I guess this will be 1 hit, gain 1 energy. Is this gonna be like the cast loop again? Socketed spells consume 10 energy per 1 second of base cast time when triggered. Man, I do love the trigger sets that you can come up with in games like this. Like they love it. It says 2. Gain energy shield and take energy.
But this one charges up as your energy shield is hit by monsters. I think we might like to put an Ice Nova in this one. The more energy shield you lose, the more charge builds up until the point where you're able to cast the skill you socketed instantly.
Oh, this one, you can only have 2 passives.
Lose some energy shield, and then at just the right time invoke Ice Nova to cast all the stacked up versions in one cast. If you keep losing shield, you'll build up even more charge for even more casts, so it's a great defensive option in an emergency.
Yeah, now, whenever you have something like this, you gotta figure out how to trigger it automatically. So the take here is gonna be, how can I force myself to lose energy shield somehow to the powers of my thing? And then also have some way to regen my energy shield all the time so that it stays. And then that's the loop, right? That could be fun to figure out. Thick Snake Boy.
Oh dear. Now
The
we just have
Kodal?
to remove it from that construct.
This is the Val boss, basically. Oh, it comes to life.
you?
The thing that was in the wall.
Get back!
That's fun. So this boss has what? There's 2 resistances on it, like the green and the red.
Death becomes.
I mean, this is a much more complicated fight than like Act 2
Your fate is
Oversoul or
sealed.
something. It's not a very mobile boss though, it mostly stands still. Which means it's good if you load up or put all the traps in one spot or something. Ricochet also seems super strong for this. Ooh, almost died.
So
Just
that's
loot
Path
filter.
of Exile 2. Your next question is likely to be, when is the beta? Well, we're in our last year of development, finishing acts, adding skills, and balancing everything. The closed beta will start on June 7th, 2024. Path of Exile 2 has been a long time coming, and we're incredibly excited to be near the finish line, but we're not quite there yet. We are determined not to rush this and make sure that we get it right. Thanks for watching.
Nice. So 1 year, basically 1 year from now, we can start playing it. Nice. Pretty cool. This guy with the skip around is the real G. All the links. Monk sounds like an ice skill heavy character. Uses power charges. I mean, it's basically Shadow, right? It's the Shadow character. It's the Shadow alternative. It's the Shadow alt, right? The Shadow alt. Like Templar and Druid. Druid is the Templar alt. Huntress is the Ranger alt, right? I guess I have to go back to the other ones. What are the other ones? QT's new.
Explore the new themes. In PoE 2, every attribute combination the Ranger, each, but they both start at the same location.
Okay. Path of Exile 2 announcement. Next generation. Yeah. Gameplay preview, that's what we just watched, I think. I don't think I need to register. I already get all the emails, I think. Return to a world of grief and despair. Since the death of Catava, society has been slowly rebuilding. Corruption has once again started to spread throughout raid class. People whisper of a ghastly living seed that drives those around it to madness. So, Path of Exile 2 features a brand new campaign with 6 acts, 100 distinct environments, 600 monsters, and 100 bosses. 6 acts. 6 acts. So it's basically the 5 acts plus 1. Yeah, the 10 acts always felt excessive to me. 6 acts seems alright, I guess. So, but it's 100 environments, basically. 100 environments. But that's also the maps, right? The 100 distinct maps. In Path of Exile 1, they trade them out, so there's actually more than 100. But it usually ends up being around... I mean... 100 is less, I guess. Path of Exile one has like 120 something, but it wasn't always that many. There's 12 character classes. Doesn't show much else. I don't know how to tell which one that is. Kind of weird that they put these screenshots like this. I guess it's supposed to be these three. These skill gems. Small. Oh, so this was the comment. To level 9. Oh wait, this only has 2. I guess as you level it up, does it unlock more? Or I forget what they said about that. Maybe it says it here. Devastating active skills, sorcerer. 4 gems are now socket directly into the skill gems, removing many of the frustrations present in old system while maintaining the previous step. Now possible to 6-link every skill your character uses. These ones are supports. They still have multiple projectiles. There's only 2 additional projectiles, but it has 5. It's the symbol for greater, right? The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe it levels up the number of projectiles. Fighting cold, inevitable critical. Critical chance on a support, that's alright. Fear field. Strike the ground, causing spears to burst forth and cone in front of you. Spears remain for duration, exploding when enemies attempt to pass them, requires a spear. Wave of frost. Flip backwards while sending a freezing wave of ice. Requires a quarterstaff. That was the comment. Shapeshift into a bear. Wait, shapeshift into a bear? This is for the druid, I guess. How does that... But anybody could use this, right? It's plus 6 seconds total attack time if not already a bear. Okay. So so you don't want to be switching back and forth, really. You want to be bear and then be bear. And then, or like do your whole setup and then bear. Shapeshift into a bear, but that's gonna be a little awkward with them. Well, I guess dodge roll wouldn't count, I hope. You would stay a bear maybe when you're dodging, hopefully. But it's bleeding. Crit bleeding. Physical damage. Yeah, Druid in games has always kind of like not been my style because usually you lose something when you turn into whatever you're turning into, or there's some sort of thing you have to do to turn. Kind of slows it down. You can't just spam. But if this just goes in like a skill gem and then you automatically transform, but there's like some penalty, maybe this is much smoother. Be interesting to try that out. This is the dual specialization. Looks cool, but I wonder how that's actually gonna work out in practice. Like this example is so obvious, right? But might be some interesting combinations that come out of this though. So this is increased flash charges gained on a belt. There's spirit amulets, which is basically like aura bot. This is the aura amulet of solars. Just increased cast speed on a ring. This is energy shield base. This is hybrid Asian energy shield, that makes sense. This is also Asian energy shield. There's an icicle flail, but I assume this is without whatever. It's supposed to roll with the thing though, right? Or that's just the casting weapons, I guess. Just the casting weapons have a skill. I feel like the melee weapon should have something though, right? Melee weapon should have either mobility or... I mean, how are they gonna upgrade caster weapons like that while also trying to say that, you know, with all the pathfinding and auto-targeting that melee's alright. Whenever you have to target manually, it's gonna be slower anyway. They should just have some sort of advantage to melee weapons. You know? Like plus 10 speed or something, or you know, like you automatically get a buff or something. You know, they could even make it proximity because you're going to be melee, right? It could be like when you're near an enemy, you know, when you're within melee range of an enemy or something, you get like one additional endurance charge or something. You know, because then it kind of like gives you a reason to against the maim. You know, this is a spear and this is a flail, so these are melee weapons. This one is maim on hit, I guess. This is a unique. Hold, spell, skill gems. It also has the unleash. This is only level 20, so this is like a leveling weapon. Enemies chilled by you have no elemental. Enemies chilled by you. No elemental. 30% increased mana regen. I mean, that's good to get a quick +2. You can use that level 20. The art is nice. Explore new endgame. 6-act campaign, you'll have access to the endgame. Each 100 endgame maps, yeah. And the 100 bosses, which will probably be the areas from the game, so it's the same, but it's a good way to reuse. We'll reveal more details as far as what you... Yeah, so there's going to be something more. The Atlas system is going to have to update somehow. It would be nice if they let you have multiple passive trees in the Atlas system as well, if they're going to continue the Atlas passives, because they at least are giving you the weapon swap passive swaps, which makes it more versatile for build making. Plus, I love any automation in ARPG is always well received. I love it. Full production. Wait, we're showcasing a large demo at Gamescom in Cologne, Germany, late August, and PAX West in Seattle, early September. So that's coming up soon. I'm not going to be able to make it to either of those anyway. Seattle's kind of way closer to me than New Zealand. But September is not the time for me to disappear from my children. All right, so that's it for Path of Exile 2. It looks like, but that is pretty good. Pretty good. All right, I didn't mean to open new tab. Gameplay preview. Yeah, I think we went. Yeah, we went through all of it. Nice. Yeah. Oh, I would like to see what the classes are again. Let me. It is. If we look at the trailer, it's in the trailer, right? Mute it. Does it say? Did somebody post the thing down here? But they showed it like right at the beginning, right? Yeah, here it is. So let's see. We got Witch, which is the intelligence class, right? And then Sorceress is the intelligence alt class. Right, and then Ranger obviously is the Dex class, and Huntress is the Dex alt, right? And then we have Duelist. So these are the same, right? Duelist is our Dex Strength combo at the bottom of the tree. Shadow is our Int Dex combo. at the top right of the tree. Templar is our int strength combo to the upper left of the tree, and then Marauders are strength. The Warrior is our Marauder alt, looks like, right? And then Huntress is our Dex alt. Source is our int alt, Witch alt. Mercenary. Mercenary looks like the Duelist alt, right? And Monk is the Shadow alt. Druid is the Templar alt. So that's all of them. Yeah, so there's no Scion or anything like that. So, and of course the boss battles are always amazing. I always have great stuff with that. Okay.
Souls such as yours do not go quietly into the night. They thirst for battle. They yearn to prove themselves. Welcome to the halls of the dead. Earn your place.
The Halls of the Dead. This is the prophecy, right? Are these
Among us.
I mean, they don't look familiar, actually.
Under Hinicora's watchful eye, test your mettle against the greatest warriors who ever lived.
Oh my god, it's Grandmasters. It's Grandmasters. Alright, what is this person even using? This is, they're really going hard on Fireball here. The 2 life flasks again. How do they continuously do that? How come I can't get the mouse out of here? So it's Termination, 1 totem. Yeah. Why are they using Fireball? Well, I guess.
Prove yourself in the trial of the ancestors.
There's always a Cycloner. Okay, wait a minute. This is what I want to say. So... Honored Sage. Wait, you have like a eye color. It's like you have your team of people or something. You can equip items on them, it looks like. In that little, in this square right here. Like this goes there. Maybe. So you can like buff your dudes, and then you fight against another dudes. I guess. And then you all battle. The battle's in real time though, right? So it looks like you have like you set up a team of warriors, and then you go fight another team of warriors, and everybody has some certain amount of buffs or whatever. And then it looks like you know, maybe you get an attack buff if you put them on the front line. You get defensive buffs here, something like that. There's ones here. This like some sort of attacky thing. Riposte or something, or dexterity. These look like a 1, level 1, grade 1. Oh wait, let's look at this one too. Rivals and rewards. Matches. I assume that you actually fight in the thing, right? Opponents. So you want to kind of set up. So maybe it's like a chessboard. And you want to set up matchups to get the right rewards. It looks like that. Because this guy's got, Comb's got certain rivals, right? Oh, that's supposed to be Comb, I guess. So that's, these are all Mata? I mean, this looks like all, like Karui stuff, right? And they said there was a chieftain. Didn't they say there was a chieftain update too? I think they said chieftain update. Also. So the rewards are pretty much the same, except for whatever this is. This looks like a new currency. This thing. But this is regular currency, and then like gems, and these guys are all busted. This looks like unique. One person gives uniques. Looks like you pick too. And then you get, oh, maybe that was tattoos, that thing. That currency drop. Doesn't really look, has anything changed on this tree? Probably, right? This looks new, maybe? So, but I don't, wait a minute, what is this? This looks like it's in the wrong spot. Right? Isn't this in a different spot? Wait a minute, wait. That passive tree looks busted. What is this? It's at the top of the tree. It's at the top of the tree, right? Oh, wait, it's changed. The things are changed. But it's strength at the top for some reason. Wait, why is it strength at, this is the bottom. I'm crazy. This is duelist. I'm insane. Okay, it's fine. Not that crazy. I'm supposed to be looking at this row. I don't know why I thought it was the top. So this is our strength right here, right? This is destroyer. Dervish, right? Okay. So that makes sense. You can't make it smaller than this. What's different about this here? Do split window. Although that's not very split. Why is this side bigger? That's bigger. Okay. Does it overlap? Oh, it does. Okay. But it's fine. We have a little overlap. Alright, so it looks like the tattoos changed the small passives. Like the travel passives. So it's Golem's Blood over here. Yeah, so I guess this is the same then. Ribcage Crusher. I haven't made a duelist in a hot minute. They showed us a nice juicy not changed part of the tree. Basically. Confirmed this part of the tree is the same. Looks like, mostly. So this is this should be over on the other side. Wish I could close this though. Can't full screen passive in building it. Wait a minute. This is this, not this. This. Right? Oh no. Oh wait, this is Wind Dancer actually. Right? Isn't that Wind Dancer? This is Ranger side. Cream Ego, yeah, that's right. So what is it? Charisma's still the same. We got the gem slot. They're tattooing up their dexterities here. The straps into Perfectionist into Forces. Got the Wind Dancer. Still in the same spot. It always looks like it's the edge of the tree when they zoom in like this. I guess if I zoom in like this, then it's like here. Okay. Whoops. New items. There's a boa belt. Yeah, this looks very Karui stuff. And they said Chieftain. I was calling for Chieftain updates last league, though. Because Crucible seemed like a Chieftain league to me, but it ended up not being. 60 new keystones as well. Oh, Atlas keystones. Okay. Well, that's the area. Wait, it's over on the breach side, though. This is on the right side of the tree. Um, so it's this. It's expedition. That's expedition. Which one was I on? Lost track. So this is expedition. They changed this one to a big one. This is a big one. 60 new Atlas keystones, and then whatever. This is the travel one, maybe? Or, yeah, it's the gateway. That's expedition. Itemized sanctums? Itemized sanctum. So you go to a sanctum to try to get a unique or something. 14 new supports, obviously. Guardian? Wait, Guardian as well? Guardian also revamps. Chieftain revamp.
In the end, only one can become champion. Will it be you?
So, I mean, that's the prophecy person, right? What's their name again? Arabi or something? Prophet. I mean, Navali. That's right. Navali. Ruiz, Combs. This stuff is all in prophecy. I guess it's a splattering because it's the upgraded items. But there is a lot of like the Karui type stuff. Well, yeah. Navali. I guess Navali's leading the new charge here. Rui gods, right? So Hinakura was in there, right? Agamahu was in there. Ahoa, yeah. Tsukahama. Katava. Maybe it's not only the Kurui gods, but it looks like it was a lot of the Kurui gods. But Navali. I have to check Kid and Cat Noodles thing then on this. Alright, nice. Yeah, what up, DP? How are you doing? Your internet is out and your phone is almost out of power. Well, you can plug in your phone, assuming that you're at electric. But yeah, it sucks. I hope you get your internet fixed. Trial of the Ancestors. We just watched Trial of the Ancestors. That was this trailer, was it? Alright. So it's Navali and Marauder, because Marauder's from the Kurui area, right? Originally, the character. So this is like Marauder League. I guess that makes sense, because they're revamping Chieftain. I guess that's why they didn't revamp Chieftain last league. Because it makes more sense in this league, even though I thought Crucible was very cheap. So in this expansion, you will visit the Kurui Afterlife. Okay, that's it. So what? So Navali's dead? Is that what happened? And defeat 10 tribes in a series of tournaments to earn valuable new rewards. The Mesh of Legion, maybe. Our August expansion reduces Challenge League 16 Atlas Keystones, reworks of the Guardian Chieftain, 14 new support gems, and the return of a fan favorite past league, the Forbidden Sanctum. But wait a minute, that's not what we wanted. We asked for Ultimatum. I guess Ultimatum actually was already added back in with those Ultimatum maps that you can find. Journey to the Kurui Afterlife. The fallen chieftains of each Kurui tribe participate in a tournament called the Tribe of Ancestors. You will journey to the Afterlife to compete against these tribes by assembling your own team of Kurui warriors. You'll battle their chieftains in the tournament to earn valuable rewards. Nice. I guess these are just like the different locations. Oh, this looks like the town center. So maybe it's like heist, where you have to go to another area. But yeah, it's only the Kurui gods. We're really focused on the Kurui gods this league. We got Navali. So enter the tournament. In this league, use tradable silver coins. Another thing. Oh my god. Creates a portal. Oh my god, it's just like heist. Creates a portal to the halls of the dead from a town. Used as a currency in the halls of the dead that participate. It's literally heist currency. Okay. You'll start out with a basic team of 3 Kurui warriors. It's heist league. It's heist league. You gotta build up your team. And then you could put gear on them. We saw it in the other picture. In each match, you can select which tribe to compete against based on the reward. And so they have matchups, and then the matchup that you go against can trigger the rewards. So you got to find a team that really goes after what you're looking for. Which I guess that makes sense, because like in Heist League, you use certain people to, to do certain things better. But that one, the stats were really more the rewards, whereas this one is the matchups, I think, are the rewards. Oh. This is the auto battler? No, I think you actually fight, though, right? I think you actually are in the battle fighting. You can examine the battlefield configuration of the enemy team and strategically place your warriors to challenge theirs. Then you and your party will compete alongside your warriors to destroy the opposing team, right? You and your party will compete alongside your warriors. So you fight in there with your warriors. Pretty sure. Destroy the opposing team's totems and win the match. Oh, you gotta destroy their totems? Oh. So you can just ignore them, actually. Chris said, I didn't watch the reveal. This is the recap. I'm doing it right now. I didn't have a chance to watch it. What did he say, literally? What's the quote? You mean it's their take on the auto battler is the quote? So they fight. Yeah, it's more like Legion, I would say, where the two teams are fighting against each other. But in that one, you're against all of them. It's like a third. You're like a third party witnessing. But this is more like you. One of your teams will actually be on your team. It's gonna be weird performance stuff. But it's actually you just have to kill their totems to win the match, right? So maybe when you kill the certain guys, they drop the rewards right then, or you hit the totems. You know. Um, but it looks like if you can just destroy the totems and ignore the teams, then people are just gonna do that and get the rewards as fast as they can. But we'll see. We'll see how it actually plays out. When you maybe it'll be in here. I did look at it a little bit in the trailer and did a little bit of a guess, but now I'm reading the explanation, so maybe I was right a little bit. But when you complete in tournaments, you'll accumulate favor with each of the tribes. This can be spent on recruiting wards and purchasing field items and equipment of your team. That's very like heist. Each team has their own specialties, and you can mix match wards in different tribes to build a team that embodies your strategy. Yeah, this is pretty much like heist. So you get equipment that you can put on them, and then you can fight. The configuration, I'm not sure how this works out though. Cast the tidal wave, which rolls forward. That's like an actual skill that you can give to them too. You spend favor on this. And then this is just a screenshot of the fight. This person's using Lacerate? Is that right? With 2 life flasks, by the way. I love how in all their demo material they have 2 life flasks. Like none of them actually play with 1 life flask. I always try to get to 1 life flask or no life flask. But I guess this is maybe this is during leveling. Because they have such low tier stuff in here. And this only has a 3 link. So. But yeah, but still. Okay, so then you earn rewards for each match you win. In addition to a selection of regular items that may be offered, there are some exclusive new rewards that you can only get from the Trial of Ancestors. Passive tree tattoos are one such reward. These are not applied to your skin, but are engraved into your soul. My god, but the meta... That's like meta design right there. You know? Engraved into your soul, yes. Path of Exile is engraved into my soul. Thanks, Chris. Alright, applying your tattoo will change what attribute skills your passive tree do. Okay, nice. So you can basically say, instead of being Dex, you can figure out Dex in another way, right? Because maybe you have too much Dex because you're a ranger or something like that, and then change all the Dex to, I don't know, whatever these say. What are they? Change small dexterities to 2% movement speed? That's insane. 1 to 7 lightning per that's instacker basically, but not really. And then this is 1% increased mana or any reservation efficiency. That's insane. Grants +1 level to all intelligence skill. What? No, it replaces just the 30 intelligence notables. Okay, not every smaller ones. This is a big one actually. Okay, that's a little different. This replaces small attributes. This one replaces the 30 intelligence ones with +1 level. But that's still pretty good, right? There's what? There's how many of those can you get? The plus intelligence? I mean, it's gonna be hard to get all of them anyway. But you can get those jump around gems. The impossible escape or whatever it's called. To like jump over here and get these the big plus ones. But because it's these ones, right? These ones. So there's like 1 here, there's 1 here. 2, right? 3. You're not gonna be able to get all of them, maybe. Unless you're Scion. And then there's none up in the intelligence area, right? So there's 1 over here too, right? There's 4. Maybe it makes sense to be duelist this league. 2, 3, yeah. Yeah, so you could get like 4 of these. +4, that's crazy. Fire resistance, that's so bad. Fire resistance is so bad. The map is setting up your team. Can choose mounts. Mounts have strength and weaknesses. Yeah. Yeah. I think if you can participate in the thing, then builds will become strong enough that you just blast the whole thing no matter what your configuration is. So I'm sure that's will be the meta, but we'll see what it is. Because maybe the position helps the rivalries and the rewards too or something. So I'll have to see. On death, this omen is consumed in a portal. Oh, these are the omens. I read about that too. Flying your tattoo. Okay, so if you win the entire tournament, can offer you a new type of item called an omen. They can be stored in your inventory and conditions met, at which point it is consumed and the effect, oh, it's a one-time use. You can only consume one omen per combat area. You may also offer a lock of her hair, which allows you to foresee the result of an item crafting outcome. Which allows you to foresee the result of an item crafting outcome. Okay. Interesting. I do like things that make it easier to craft, but that seems like it's going to be a very expensive. But it might be cool to farm this for the crafters. This will be something that will be traded through the whole season, I'm sure. On using an orb of chance on an item will become a unique, if possible. Oh, that's interesting. On leveling up, the omen is consumed. You gain a soul eater. Oh, that's worthless. One time per one level. Okay. Upon reaching 25% life, this omen is consumed. And flash recover all charge. Flash recover all charge. If omen's consumed, flash recover all charge. I mean, that's alright. These are only one-time uses, though. I wonder how often these drop. This says they win entire tournament. I don't know. These seem kind of bad. On death, a portal is created. These are like so bad. This is like end game rewards. I mean, the tattoos are pretty cool because you can really upgrade the builds with changing some of these things around. Could be pretty broken. There's already things that do that in like a small circle, so being able to do it for all of them is kind of crazy. So, or maybe it's per. Maybe it's each one of these do each one. Replaces a small strength passive. This does one. Oh, you can only have one of this type as well. Well, for this one, this is trigger level 20 spirit. On taking a savage. I wonder how many triggers you can get. That would be kind of crazy. Just have all your small passive be triggered. Run around doing like an insane random auto battler thing or auto bomber thing. But that's good. That's cool. I mean, these rewards look the build stuff looks cool. The omens look kind of bad though. So anything crafting is fun though. So that'll be worth something. Claim exclusive unique items. Each of the 10 Kurui tribes grant an exclusive unique item as well that embodies the essence of their tribe. Interesting. These valuable heirlooms can only be earned by defeating that tribe in the Trail of Ancestors. Hinekora, the goddess of death, also has 4 powerful unique items. That will be offered to winners of the tournament. Okay, so these are like the uniques of the league. Are these going to be worth though? This is Dex, Intelligence, Life. Every 5 seconds, gain one of the following for 5 seconds. Your hits are always crits. Your hits against you are always crits. Attacks cannot hit you. Attacks against you always hit. Your damage with hits is lucky. Your damage of hits against you is that's bad. That's so bad. That gives you nothing. Every 5 seconds gain. Wait, does it just cycle through all of them? Every 5 seconds gain one of the following, or is it random? If it just cycles through them, this maybe. I still gotta wait 5 seconds though. I don't know. It seems bad. Did I watch the trailer? Yeah, I did. Did I watch the trailer earlier? Generate 3. Increase life recovery from flash. Increase mana recovery from flash. Life blast use while on low life. Life blast used while on low life could be kind of fun, but this is amulet slot. You're gonna really take your amulet slot for this? Amulet is so competitive. A belt is also so competitive, so both of these are not going to get used at all, probably. Unless you're doing a specific build where you're always on low life, right? Blast use while on low life, apply recovery instantly, right? If you're always on low life, like if you're using a petrified or blood or something, then you equip this and then you get increased life recovery and it's always instant. I guess increased life recovery is not necessary if it's always instant. And then this one is Canvas Hunger. So that's kind of a weird item. It doesn't really synergize well. It's just like helps you not die. Maybe it's a leveling item. 72 increased armor. Recover 3% life on kill. That's good. 39 increased stun and block, whatever. 858 to maximum life if there are no life modifiers on other equipped items. There are no life modifiers on other equipped items? I mean, you could do that, but you really don't want no life on nothing, but 858 is a lot. And it's 1070 armor, so it's not too bad. Recover life on kill is pretty good. So, that one's not bad. These ones are so bad, though. Return to the Forbidden Sanctum. After meeting Divinia in Act 10, you'll find Sanctum items. While playing maps in the endgame, these tradable items each represent a whole floor of the Sanctum. After meeting, find Sanctum items. Alright, so Sanctum's just randomly dropping maps from Act 10 on. And maps. These tradable items each represent a whole floor of the Sanctum. These tradable items each represent a whole floor of the Sanctum. Upon successfully completing the Sanctum floor, the next floor is generated as a tradable item with all your boons of affliction. Oh, okay. So you can sell at any point. That's interesting. We have rebalanced the Sanctum to provide more variety and mechanics. Your primary character defenses is now able to protect your resolve. Relics have also been rebalanced and are now tradable. So, Forbidden Tome. This is tradable? Uh-huh. So Forbidden Tome allows you to start a Sanctum. I assume there'll be area level 83s of these. And then this is Sanctum Vault Research. Sanctum Vault Research? Right-click this item to view details of the Sanctum in progress. So this is a Sanctum where someone still has 272 resolve left in a 77 area. They have 24 inspiration as well. And then 70 Aureus. Not sure what Aureus is. That's the gold. That's what the gold was. Gain 9 inspiration when you receive an affliction. Monsters take. Oh, those are basically like the relic things. Resolve age. Yeah. Resolve the resolve. So it just gets all put into one map basically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It probably follows the same rules. 3 prefixes. 3, 3, right? This is unmodifiable relic. Place this item on the relic altar at the start of each. You can put these in, I guess. That's gonna be kind of weird. But I guess it's kind of cool, because you could just buy a last floor. If anybody's gonna be selling those, I guess. You could buy a last floor Sanctum. How do you tell what floor it's on, though? Sanctum Vaults? I guess the name of it, right? Because each area was named something. Sanctum Vaults was what? That was the last section. Vaults was the last floor, I think. So this is the last floor, basically. You could buy 83 last floors. It'll be kind of interesting to see, because if someone has like really low resolve, maybe like they're almost dead, and they try to sell it. I wonder if it will deter people. So this is the new one that got added to Expedition. 200 increased explosive radius, 100 increased explosive placement. Expedition monsters in your map spawn with an additional 10% life missing. Expedition monsters in spawn. Expedition monsters in map spawn with an additional 10% life missing. 100% increase. Number of explosives is 1. Number of explosives is 1? Oh. You know what? That actually makes it maybe faster, right? Because you just set up 1 explosion. And it's huge. It's a big one. So you might be able to just set it right on the thing right at the beginning and not have to run around. We'll see. I'll have to see how big it is. I think it was in the trailer, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to see that what was exploding from that. Battle side areas in your maps are no longer corrupted. Currency items. Currency items can be used on non-corrupted Val side areas. Oh. So you can basically roll them like a map or something, or like a strongbox. That's cool. I don't know if I'm gonna do that as a strategy. Stopping to then throw currency on a Val side area. I don't know how much better that's gonna be. The Maven, because they're already pretty buffed, right? Like the Val areas are already pretty buffed. So, but I guess you could roll specifically for stuff maybe to try to have a higher chance of getting certain things to drop from that content. Maybe there's like ultimatum things you can go. The Maven summons 1 to 3 additional bosses when witnessing map bosses. Modifiers to the final map boss also apply to these summon bosses. That's insane. If you're a boss killer, that makes sense. Discover new support gems. Returning projectiles. What? Returning projectiles is a support gem now? So what a minute. Wait a minute. So this is that. I love how this. The first Vengeant First they had the amulet, right? Then Vengeant Cascade comes along. Returning projectiles. Attack projectiles return to you. And now we have a support gem for projectiles from supported skills return to you. 70% less damage while returning. Pierce all targets while returning. Frigid Bond. Supported skills, damage, and chill enemies between you and linked targets. Supported skills deal. Is this a totem? Support. Oh, it's a link. This is for co-op. That's fine. The Guardian Ascendancy class has been revamped, bringing more in line with the modern power level of Ascendancy classes. Did have music running. How would that work with Venomgar? It doesn't. I don't think. Venomgar already returns to you. Pretty sure, right? You would just get 70% less damage. It's a troll. You want to use it on like Ice Shot or something. But I guess it doesn't really matter. This is probably still not as strong as the passive on the tree, and probably still not as strong as the amulet as well, but perfect. I guess I don't know, I'd have to figure it out. You could try it, I guess. The Guardian Ascendancy class has revamped to bring more in line with the modern power. Harmony of Purpose now powers up parties using link skills. Harmony of Purpose now powers up parties using link skills. Time of Need now completely heals and cleanses you every 4 seconds. Radiant and Unwavering Crusade both fully embrace the Holy Summoner theme, giving you access to some exciting new types of minions. So this is new Guardian. Time of Need, every 4 seconds remove curses and elemental ailments from you. Every 4 seconds regenerate 100% life over 1 second. That's only from you though. Still pretty good, I guess, for defense. So it's 4 seconds a long time, I guess, but it's still fine. You won't be trying it? Sad. What was the other one they said was new? Harmony of Purpose? Elemental damage with hits dealt by allies between you and linked targets is lucky. Allies between you and linked targets have +5 to all max elemental resistances. Allies between you and linked targets. Allies between you and targets. Okay, enemies between you and linked targets cannot apply elemental ailments. So why do you need remove elemental ailments then? Guess you don't need both of these. So, I mean, I'm probably going to be more interested in Chieftain than Guardian, to be honest, but I played a Dominating Blow one time, I guess. So, I must almost always go Necromancer or something if I'm doing Summoner. And then I almost always go you know, like any other Templar if I'm doing Templar. So, but it is a pretty good defensive class, I suppose. We'll have to see, we'll have to see. I don't really use that kind of stuff as much. I guess if you were in party play, it would be nice to have a Guardian. We have completely redesigned the Chieftain Ascendancy class. It offers the new passive skills. Fire and other elemental damages. Yeah, that's pretty much the same as the theme. Its new skills let you cause enemies to explode, turns off enemy fire resistance while you're stationary. While you're stationary. Convert passive skills to apply fire damage and have your fire resistance apply. Convert passive skills to apply fire damage and have your fire resistance apply to your cold and lightning resistances. Fire damage to apply passive skills to apply the fire damage and have your fire resistance apply to your cold and lightning resistance. Yeah. So do we know what ascendancy is? I did go over all the ascendancies for PoE 2. It's basically 12. So they have the 6 main ones, not including Scion, right? And then they have an alt for each set. So like Ranger, you could choose Ranger or Huntress, and you would start from the same location for either. But if you go Ranger, then you have the 3 ascendancies that go with Ranger. If you go Huntress, then you have the 3 ascendancies that go with Huntress. But you would start in the same location of the passage tree. So each one has one. So Shadow has Monk as the alt. Witch has Sorceress as the alt. Templar has Druid as an alt. Marauder has Warrior as an alt, I believe. And Duelist has Mercenary, unless those are switched and Warrior's here and Mercenary's here. But I assumed Mercenary was Duelist alt and Warrior was Marauder alt. But there was no talk about, they said 36. So there's no, it's not times 7, it's times 6, right? 6 times 2 times 3. For 36 ascendancies. So I don't think there's a Scion or a Scion alt, but that's what I gathered from it. There's 12, basically. There's 12 PoE 2 classes. "36 ascendancies. So this, I don't actually know what Chieftain looks like anymore. So is this even that different than the other Chieftain? What did they change here? What are we even looking at? I guess I gotta put it on this side. So let's see. I mean, the shape is different, but this is this, right? So Sun's Light is still here, but in the old one it was this stuff, fire damage and stuff. The new one is nearby enemies have no fire resistance against damage over time while you're stationary. Nearby enemies have no fire resistance against damage over time while stationary. Druid is Templar's alt. They didn't actually specifically mention that one, I think. Okay, so they got rid of Nagahamu, it looks like. No, it's still over. They just moved it. But instead of whatever it used to do, it now does non-unique jewels cause increases and reductions to either the other damage types in a large radius to be transformed to apply fire damage. Non-unique jewels cause increases and reductions to either damage types, the other damage types in large radius to be transformed to apply fire damage. Damage types in large radius. Okay. So you have to use non-unique jewels, and then in that large radius area, you would have to allocate non-fire damage types, and then they would become fire damage. So that does really work with Chieftain well, because Chieftain usually likes to take, you know, all fire damage basically. That's an avatar of fire and whatnot. So this kind of makes sense. Looks like they still have Moon's Presence here, but it doesn't do the same thing anymore. Totems are not immune to fire damage. It looks like you recoup 10% damage taken by your totems as life. Totems regenerate 1 second per 4 of your life recovery. Second from regen. That is different too, right? Totems taunt enemies around them for 4 seconds while summoned as well. So that's still totem. I mean, totem build, you're still gonna play totem build like this if you play it. But it doesn't give you multiple totems though, right? So it's still not gonna be as good as it's still not gonna be as good as we still got the endurance. We don't have the endurance charges in there anymore, do we? Doesn't look like endurance charges are in there anymore. Which one is it? These small ones used to give endurance charges, I thought. Let's see. This one is the same. This is totem placement stuff. This one is regen. It still has lots of regen. Chieftain's always been about regen. But this one had endurance charge on kill. And on kill it kind of. I guess it makes sense to put that on the tree instead of in just. There's so many ways to get endurance charges now that this seems bad to have it as ascendancy. So maybe that makes sense. So, but they just changed it to generic regen though. So, and this one already still had regen. So it's actually fire resistance now instead. I would still rather have the endurance charge actually, but it's fine. What is this one? Cleansing water. That is not on here anymore. No, it is. Modifiers to fire resistance. Also apply to cold lightning resist at 50% of their value. Unaffected by ignite. You don't get the ton of fire resistance anymore. Modifiers to fire resistance also apply to cold and lightning resistance at 50% of their value. So, I mean, that's still very defensive. I don't know if you would be taking this stuff. This is still the same. Trigger the spell. Or trigger the chosen when you attack. Flames advance. Is that still on here? Death's Fury. Enemies you kill have a 5% chance to explode, dealing 5% of their maximum life as fire damage. Enemies you kill have a 5% chance to explode, dealing 500% of their maximum life as fire damage. That's insane. Death's Fury. It previously was fire damage leeches life, increased strength, and cover everybody in ash for 10 seconds on hit, which is like a 20% less movement speed, 20% increased fire damage taken. Enemies you kill have a 5%. So Let me see here now. So it doesn't matter. You would still convert everything into fire damage. And now things explode. So you basically just use that. It's basically good for clear. And you also get increased fire damage on the way to that. I mean, this might be righteous fire too. Because you could do damage over time. Man, I can imagine shield chargers now with the explosion, fire damage. Be pretty good, or leak slamming. Leap slam, explode. Enemies you kill though. It says, would it be totems? Explosive shot chieftain, anyone? Nice. I guess I'm playing chieftain this league no matter what. I mean, they're giving you explode. They're giving you explode on chieftain. It's now going to go up there with occultist, right? And gladiator as league starters. Right? Because I almost always go like crazy projectiles or occultist at the beginning of leagues because you want to be able to clear packs quickly to get through all the maps. Because the first time through you gotta do all of them, like every zone, you know? So, you know, you will take longer on bosses potentially, but this might actually be fine. With all the explode. Enemies you kill. Nice. So because occultists you have to have them cursed for them to explode, and duelists you have to have gladiator. I mean, you have to have them bleeding for them to explode. So this will be cool because this is just 5% chance to explode. So that'll help with pack clearing and stuff. Nice. Nice. There might be a place for some melee slammers now too, because they got the explode. I'm a champion to celebrate the release. We'll be hosting a boss kill event. Hardcore solo self-found, not ruthless. Will they remove ruthless? Show your support. Nice. So that's it for the Trial of Ancestors. What was that? The announcements? That was the announcements. Then we have the supporter packs. This is the last section. Shade series. What is this? The portal? Like the portal shackles you? That's kind of interesting. That's funny. Is that a waypoint as well? How do I tell what this is? Oh, it's an infernal portal. Okay. These are the things from the other one, right? And then this one adds a nebula character effect. And a crafting bench. What the heck is that? Hero landing unique finisher effect? What's that, when you get the last hit on an enemy, you do this instead? Diamond flask. Cathedral armor pack. That does look really cool. I like this. Faithful Hound, nice. And then these are the previous ones. So, or what are these? Yeah, these are Crucible ones. Enchanter series. I guess maybe these are all new. Does this just like show through the background? Yeah, no, these are just Crucible ones. Yeah, I remember this now. Okay. And then the core. They still have some of the same ones. Cool. Actually cool. We announced during the live stream. Merchandising. Theory crafting. Podcasting. Nice. I think that's pretty much all I needed to talk about with Path of Exile. I guess we can check Twitter. I think I covered it. The only other thing was that I'm I-23 won the race. I'm Exile was 2. Tide Killer 3. Havoc had a couple of deaths, so he didn't actually make it through. But I believe I'm Exile was in the lead when I was watching it. I mean, Tide 23 was in the lead. Oh, but they were pretty close. I tried getting third while on vacation. Yeah, so that was the only other thing that happened, I think. The Exilecon race. And then there was people actually there and posting fun stuff. I didn't get, obviously, I don't think I'll ever be able to make it to New Zealand. It's kind of crazy. There's the Q&A as well. Act 3 gameplay. Yeah, I watched all this. Yep. Twitch straps. Oh, I also got my Twitch straps, I guess. This was the before post, by the way. So I think it's done. It's like the big picture of Exilecon. At the end of the race, I think this was. So that's had people come up and play some footage from Path of Exile 2, but it looked like they had pretty underpowered stuff. You know, not fully leveled gears and things. Kind of mid game, like maybe where they were probably at like Act. I would say they were probably at like Act 4 maybe. Maybe Act, because they were like level 40s, right? I think they were in the level 40s. Right? So that's like, well, that's like Act 4, I think. It might be a little different now though, because they want you to be 68 by the time you get to maps, right? And that's 6 acts now, so maybe it'll be like 10 per. Yeah, maybe it'll be like 10 per act, rough-ish. You know, so it's still about Act 4 maybe. Is where they maybe were in the content. Yeah. But they were maybe geared for like, they weren't geared well enough. I think you would be better geared by then. The new chieftain looks pretty good then. New chieftain. New chieftain with explode. And fire damage over time, or no resistance, fire damage over time while stationary. I guess there's some builds that force you to become stationary when you cast. I wonder if that counts. Like permacast. Maybe it's just righteous fire. Maybe it's actually righteous fire chieftain time. PoE Ninja. Wait, I haven't used PoE Ninja in so long that's not in my history anymore. It's kind of sad. Chieftain. The people that are playing Chieftain right now are Reapin. I guess you could continue, you could actually still do this build and now you have Explode. Fire Trap, Righteous Fire. Yeah, so I assume Righteous Fire will have a bigger place with Chieftain now too, but I think it'll probably be best to do some sort of physical attacking build that then gets Explode. Like this guy's doing Shield Charge, something. Oh, it's the Dark Scepter. The Shield Charge Explode build, I actually said that. It would be fun. Cause I used to have a build like that actually, but it needed like an item or something to get the explosions. Burning Arrow. Burning Arrow could work too, right? Consecrated Path. That's like the running skill. Is that right? The movement thing. It's fire damage though. Sanguinate. Sanguinate could be kind of fun. Wait, couldn't you make the Corrupting Blood? The Corrupting Fever build? Would just have Explode, right? There's gotta be better than that though. But that would be a lot of arrows. Here's the explosive arrow actually. They traveled all the way over to Dex area. Explosive arrow with Explode. Fun. Oh, but that's not gonna have a single target probably. Blade Vortex. You know what? It might just be Fireblade Vortex. Avatar of Fireblade Vortex actually. Blade Vortex already is great with Explode. That's like the one thing it needs actually. Because you can just shield charge right into them, your Blade Vortex stays. Maybe I'll start Righteous Fire and then go into Blade Vortex. Actually, last time I did Blade Vortex, I think I was Berserker or something, maybe? I got a lot of time to think about this, actually. Tectonic Slam, maybe I'll do Slam. I haven't done a Slam build in a while. Slam, Explode. Blade Vortex Chieftain. Cyclone with Explode works too. I guess I could do some sort of auto trigger build. Cast on crit stuff. Oops. Guess we're gonna go this one. Guess what else is there? Path of Exile. Thoughts. Let's see if there's anything on the YouTube, I guess. They just have the supporter pack stuff, the trailers. Charles Ancestors. Path of Exile 2 trailer. Oh, that was from the gaming show. That was a while ago. Okay. Anybody talking about this? Alspin's worried about it. Where's the sentence say? Someone says for Chieftain? Damn. I guess I'm talking myself into playing Chieftain a little bit. But I was already saying things like, you're still not gonna pick Chieftain for totems, right? Which is kind of sad. You know? And I actually maybe wouldn't even still pick Chieftain for Righteous Fire, actually. Still might still go Juggernaut. So, I guess, but there's a... Pox is on here, though, talking about it. New potential Righteous Fire build. But they did say it'll be 2 different games, so Path of Exile 1 will still exist. I guess that makes sense. I mean, people still play Diablo 2, right? People would probably still play Diablo 3, maybe? Official gameplay. I guess that's it. There's not too much stuff on here, huh? Yeah. People are probably still traveling from that went to Exilecon. So they don't have time to make the videos yet. But we have some initial thoughts videos on here. Hanky's already talking about the league. Like tactics. Alright, let's check on the lore real quick as my one other thing. But I don't think he's posted anything since the theory. So Kid and Cat Nudie posted a 20-minute video on FXL 2 storyline, which is pretty interesting. And she goes through all the maps and stuff like that. Pretty good, I like that kind of stuff. But I probably won't keep it in my mind really outside of just the interesting part of the video. Like when I actually play the game, it'll probably brush over me pretty, but maybe it'll be more memorable since I have a lot of investment in these type of games. So we got gameplay trailer. I think I watched that already though. So I don't know if I actually want to watch any of the other stuff. I would be down to teleparty something maybe. Randomly. So, but actually, maybe I'll just switch over to Brotato, actually. Play some Brotato. But yeah, Expedition sounds good. Maybe I will go Righteous Fire Expedition for League start. Because you could do one explosion expedition. Seems good. And I'll have Explode with Chieftain. And damage over time is really good against Expedition. So, and they won't have any resistances while you're standing still. So, yeah, just stand still right in the middle of your Expedition explosion. they'll all come at you and die and explode. Seems fine. Standstill, AFK, Regisfire, Chieftain build. So, yeah. Maybe it won't be as good as the previous Regisfire builds, but at this point, you know what? Doesn't even matter. Chieftain's gotta have something. But I don't know, it might be still bad. The Shadow revamp wasn't my favorite either. So, or it wasn't Shadow, it was when they changed what's its face? Trickster. They changed Trickster to have one step ahead with the action speed stuff. So I played it the whole league, but after that league I was basically like rather play a cultist or ranger still, I guess. But it wasn't bad, it was still cool. Trickster can have a lot of good uses. So I don't really play Marauder much at all, I guess is the thing. So, but I could do Regisfire this league maybe. Seems like it would work well against Expedition. You know, reducing their resistances. Oh wait, did I just lose? I just lost internet service anyway. It looks like. Oh, it's back. It did buffer for a second though. I lost no frames on OBS though. Yeah, I guess it's alright. Alright, I'm gonna end. I will... Probably, maybe I'll get on in 5 minutes and play some Brotato. And yeah, it's been kind of quiet for the night. Alright, I'll BRB. Anyway, if you went to Exilecon and have any other fun information for me, send it over to my Discord or however you want to message me. I don't care. I'm on Spoutable, I'm on Twitter, I'm on everything. So hit me up with your fun stories, and I hope to see you at the beginning of the Trial of the Ancestors in a few weeks. It'll be pretty fun. I'm probably gonna go all Chieftain, even though it might not be good. Fine. I'll be the guinea pig. Alright, I'll see you all next time. Thanks so much for watching. It's Javs on Twitch right here. All the content, all the time, every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern for games. And we got the watch party on Saturday. Although I'm going to be at the beach this weekend probably, so might have to take a week off. Summer's a little rough for scheduling, but I'll be back soon. Bye!